You're in small business, it's all your fault. You have to take 100% responsibility for your small business and for all the people who work for you. It always comes back to you, and I'll give you a great example from my recent experience. We took over a client from an accountant who deceased, and the client came on board and was a long way behind in their taxes, about 6 or 7 years. When the client came on board, my communication down to our people was, look, there'll be no interest and penalties for this client and a few others that came from this deceased accountant, and we'll get in contact with the tax office and we'll get extensions for those outstanding tax returns. So the young lady landed, put her information into us. We were very, very busy. Took us a little bit of time to get to the work. So she came back after a couple of weeks and said, what's happening with my work? I'm going to get interest and penalties from the tax office. My team said, well, we haven't put an interest and penalty remission in yet to the tax office, but it should be okay. She was unimpressed, and she took to social media and really gave our team a hammering for not getting that permanent late lodgement extension from the tax office. So it came back through the firm to myself as managing partner here, and I looked at it and thought, I've made a big communication blue here. So my communication down to our people, and Beck and Karen copped the brunt of it, was we will get that extension and it will be in place. However, we knew that the client was not going to get interest and penalties, but we weren't able to get the permanent late lodgement message from the tax office. So for me, it was all my fault. I rang the client, spoke to her, explained the situation. She was still taken aback, but we gradually talked to her, lodged her tax returns, and she was okay in the end. So we're pretty good at cleaning up all those old tax returns. You might have seen a recent video on that. Just cleaned them all up and got it all smooth again. However, the communication to that client and back through our team came from me. It wasn't right, and that problem with social media and client, it was all my fault. And you'll find in small business, if something doesn't quite work out and you take it all the way back, it'll be your fault. And if it's not your fault, you ain't being true to yourself and true to your people. So another way of looking at it is, there was a fella years ago, a guy called Matthew, I don't know what his surname was, but he wrote in this old book called the Bible, where people go to church. Not many people go there anymore. You see them on corner blocks around the big cities. They've got a lot of good real estate around the place. Anyway, these churches, these guys wrote books that went into the Bible, and they would preach. And there's one thing that Matthew said that I'm going to give you a message in small business, and take heed, because I had to and have to, and it's not easy. Matthew said, why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? What a sage. We don't go to church anymore. Well, every now and again, but that guy was a sage. In small business, it's all your fault. The communication through to your people, it's up to you. And if things come back and they're not quite right, please take responsibility. I see it with all small businesses, because if you're going to take full responsibility, you're going to get more loyal people. They're going to see a better leader and someone who's prepared to take the brunt of the buffeting out there in the business world. It's all your fault. Take responsibility. See ya.